You keep wondering why everything feels slow, why the doors don't open when you knock, why the people you counted on walk away just when you need them most. You keep asking yourself why your prayers sound louder than the answers you receive. But listen, your life is not stuck. Your path is not forgotten. Your voice is not ignored. What you can't see right now is that He's working in silence. Trust Him. Sometimes God hides His work because if He showed you the blueprint too early, fear would make you run. Doubt would make you quit. People around you would try to ruin what hasn't even fully begun. So He works behind the scenes, piece by piece, moment by moment, miracle by miracle, quietly, gently, precisely, until the day He pulls back the curtain and says, "And now look what I prepared for you." You're tired, I know. You're trying to stay faithful while your heart feels heavy. You're smiling in front of people but fighting battles they know nothing about. You're carrying weights you never asked for, responsibilities you didn't expect, changes you weren't ready for. And in the middle of all of it, you're wondering, why is God silent? But silence doesn't mean absence. Silence doesn't mean neglect. Silence doesn't mean punishment. Silence usually means construction. He is building something in your life that requires quiet, requires patience, requires surrender. You can't rush it. You can't force it. Can't rewrite it. All you can do is trust Him. Trust that the same God who carried you this far won't suddenly abandon you now. Do you remember the last difficulty you thought you wouldn't survive? And yet here you are. Do you remember the times you cried thinking life was over, only for God to open doors you never imagined? You've seen His mercy before. You've tasted His protection before. You've witnessed His rescue before. Why would this time be any different? He hears the prayer you whispered while half asleep and exhausted. He sees the tears you hide from the world. He knows the fears you never speak out loud. And He is doing something about it. Not loudly, not dramatically, not publicly, but silently. Because some blessings must grow in the dark before they bloom in the light. You keep thinking something is being taken away from you, but something is being prepared for you. You think things are falling apart, but they're falling into the exact order they're falling into the exact order God wants. You think you're being delayed, but you're being protected from what you can't see. You think people are rejecting you, but God is redirecting you to where you truly belong. He's working in silence on your heart, strengthening it so you can handle what you prayed for. He's working in silence on your patience, because the blessing you're asking for requires maturity. He's working in silence on your relationships, removing the wrong people and sending the right ones at the right time. He's working in silence on your opportunities, aligning circumstances, shifting directions, preparing places with your name on them. And when He is ready, when you are ready, things will change faster than you can even understand. The same silence that scares you today will become the testimony that shocks you tomorrow. You don't have to see everything to trust God with everything. You don't have to understand the how or when or why. You just have to believe that He never stops working for you. Not for a second. Not for a breath. Not for a moment. So breathe. Slow down. Place your heart back in the hands of the One who created it. You're not forgotten. You're not behind. You're not alone. You're being shaped, protected, positioned, and prepared. God is not late. God is not late. God is not ignoring you. God is not punishing you. He is working in silence. Trust Him, because when the silence breaks, your life will never be the same again. You keep waking up with questions in your heart that you don't know how to answer. You keep wondering if the path you're on is really the one God intended, or if you somehow missed a sign along the way. You feel the weight of uncertainty pressing on your chest like you're walking through fog with no idea where the road leads. And yet, somehow you continue. Something inside you refuses to give up, even on days when giving up feels easier. And that is something is God's grace pulling you forward, even when His voice seems quiet. You don't know it yet, but this quiet season will become one of the most meaningful chapters of your life. The season where you learn to trust God without evidence. The season where you learn to walk by faith, not by sight. The season where you realize that silence is not the absence of God. It's the atmosphere in which He performs His deepest work. Think about seeds. They grow in darkness, buried beneath soil where no one sees them, where no one applauds them, where no one even remembers they exist. And yet, that is where transformation happens. That is where roots form. That is where roots form. That is where strength develops. You are in that place right now, not forgotten, but planted. What you call a delay, God calls a development. What you call a silence, God calls strategy. What you call a pain, God calls a preparation. You want the blessing, but He wants you to be ready for it. You want the answer now, but He wants you to stand firm. You want clarity, but He wants growth. God's timeline is not a punishment, it's protection. If He gave you everything you asked for right when you asked for it, you would not have the strength, the wisdom, or the emotional endurance to keep it. So He works quietly, He works patiently, He works skillfully. He rearranges things you don't even know need rearranging. He removes people who would have betrayed you later. He closes doors that would have drained your spirit. He blocks paths that would have led you into heartbreak. He knows what He's doing. And I know it's hard to trust a plan you can't see. It's hard to surrender control when your mind is racing with fears. It's hard to stay faithful when nothing around you looks promising. But that is exactly where God proves Himself. The silence is the training ground where faith either breaks or becomes unshakable. And God is shaping yours to become unshakable. Sometimes the silence is also His mercy. If He answered every prayer immediately, you might settle for things far smaller than what He is preparing. You'd accept temporary comfort instead of lasting blessings. You'd cling to people who are never meant to walk into your future. God's silence is the shield that blocks you from what is beneath you, behind you, and beneath the standard He has written for your life. You think nothing is happening, but everything is happening, but everything is happening. You think you're stuck, but you're being positioned. You think you're losing, but you're being redirected to what is better, stronger, and safer for your soul. God is the architect of details you haven't even imagined yet. Every tear you cried alone, He counted it. Every night you felt forgotten, He saw you. Every prayer you whispered, He heard you. Every fear you buried, He understood it. And He didn't forget. He didn't ignore. He didn't abandon. He started working. He's working on the parts of your story that would overwhelm you if you saw them too early. He's working on the chapters that come after this one, chapters filled with breakthrough, relief, healing, and renewal. He's working on turning the weight you carry into the strength you will one day use to lift someone else. You might not understand why life slowed down, why relationships changed, why certain people left, why opportunities fell apart, why plans collapsed. But God knows. He saw what you couldn't. He heard conversations you never knew existed. He protected you from disasters you didn't even know were coming. His silence wasn't silence. It was rescue. And one day you will look back and realize that the things you begged Him to remove were things He used to reshape you. The nights you questioned His presence were the nights He was closest to you. The prayers you thought went unanswered were answered in ways that saved your soul, not just your situation. So don't fear the silence. Don't resent it. Don't misinterpret it. Silence is a sign of construction. And what God builds, no one can destroy. What God blesses, no one can block. What God ordains, no one can interfere with. When God writes your story, even detours become destiny. There will come a moment, sudden, unexpected, and overwhelming, when everything changes at once, when the heaviness lifts, when the confusion clears, when the doors open, when the people meant for you appear, when the things you prayed for show up not piece by piece, but all together. That is the moment the silence breaks. And when that moment comes, you'll realize God never forgot you. He was preparing you. He was shaping you. He was working in shadows so His light could shine brighter in your breakthrough. So keep going. Keep believing even when belief feels heavy. Keep praying even when your voice trembles. Keep trusting even when your heart feels fragile, even when your heart feels fragile. You are not walking alone. You are walking with a God who is always ahead of you, clearing your path, softening your heart, strengthening your spirit. He's working in silence, but not 1 second of His silence is empty. Trust Him. Your story is about to shift in ways you never saw coming. You keep thinking that silence means nothing is happening. You keep assuming that because life feels slow, God must be distant. But the truth is, some of God's greatest moves happen in seasons where you can't feel anything, can't see anything, and can't understand anything. It's in those moments, those quiet, heavy, confusing moments, where heaven is working the hardest on your behalf. You're in a season that feels like waiting, but heaven calls it preparation. You're in a chapter that feels like loss, but heaven calls it positioning. You're in a place that feels empty, but heaven calls it sacred. You're being shaped in ways only silence can shape you. There are things God can only teach you when everything else is quiet, when everyone else is gone, when every distraction is removed. Maybe you think you're behind. Maybe you think everyone is moving forward while you remain stuck. But God is not comparing your timeline to anyone else's. God is not rushing you. God is not disappointed in you. He is directing you step by step, even when the steps feel invisible. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't abandoned you. He hasn't changed his mind about you. He is working in ways you don't see, through people you don't know, in places you haven't been, within circumstances that haven't even begun yet. His silence is not rejection. His silence is orchestration. You're in the hallway between prayers and answers, between tears and healing, between confusion and clarity. And in that hallway you will discover something important. Trust is built when you don't understand. Faith is strengthened when you don't feel anything. Growth happens when nothing appears to be moving. Right now, you are learning to trust God beyond emotions, beyond signs, beyond circumstances, and beyond expectations. You are learning to trust Him simply because He is God, because He is good, because He is wise, because He sees what you can't see. And that kind of trust can only be built in silence. You don't know how many things God has already prevented from reaching you. You don't know how many dangers He has blocked, how many people He has removed, how many situations He has ended before they could harm you. There are battles you never had to fight because God fought them quietly, privately, silently, before they ever touched your life. Think about the people who left. It hurt, it broke you, it confused. But now, even if only a little bit, you're starting to see that their absence became your freedom. Their departure created space for better things. Their exit protected your spirit. What you thought was loss was actually re-rescue. Think about the opportunities that slipped away. You were angry. You were disappointed. You questioned your worth. But later, you realized that what you wanted wasn't aligned with what you needed. God wasn't punishing you. He was protecting you from doors that led nowhere, from paths that weren't yours, from environments that would have drained you. Think about the moments you thought you would break. You cried, you trembled, you questioned everything. Yet God carried you through it. You didn't break. You didn't fall apart. You didn't lose your mind. You survived what was designed to destroy. And if you survived that, what makes you think you won't survive this? You are stronger than you think. You are becoming wiser than before. You are learning to listen with your heart, not your fear. You are becoming who you were meant to be. And the beautiful thing, you don't have to force anything. You don't have to chase anything. You don't have to beg for anything. What God has written for you will arrive in perfect timing. Not early, not late, not almost, not halfway. Perfect, precise, complete. He is shaping your future with hands full of mercy. He is organizing your next chapter with love. He is moving pieces you don't even know exist yet. He is working on the hearts of people who will one day bless your life. He's setting up encounters, opportunities, breakthroughs, and turning points that will seem sudden to you. But they've been in preparation for a long time. Your sudden blessings will not be sudden to God. They are the product of silent seasons, of private tears, of unseen battles, of hidden growths, What? Nothing is wasted, not one moment, not one delay, not one prayer, not one heartbreak, not one night you cried yourself to sleep. You may feel tired, but God is not done. You may feel empty, but God is not finished. You may feel confused, but God is not chaotic. His plan is unfolding piece by piece, even in places where your vision can't reach. You ask, God, when will things change? But He's already changing things. Not always around you, sometimes inside you. Not always quickly, sometimes slowly, quietly, deliberately. He is building in you the strength required for the blessings ahead. He is preparing you not just to receive the breakthrough, but to sustain it. Not just to taste joy, but to protect it. Not just to step into your next level, but to stay there. You're not waiting for God. God is preparing you for what He's already aligned. The person you will become after this season will shock you. The clarity you will gain will change the way you walk. The peace you will carry will feel supernatural. The opportunities arriving will feel tailor-made. The blessings coming will silence every doubt you ever had. And one day you will thank God for the silence. You will thank Him for not giving you everything you asked for right away. You will thank Him for the delays, the detours, the redirections, the endings, the removals, the breakings, the rebuildings. You will thank Him for every not yet, every wait, every trust me. Because you will see what he was doing, you will see why he was silent. You will see how everything worked together, and when the silence breaks, when God finally says, now, the speed at which your life shifts will leave you breathless. Doors will open, opportunities will multiply, peace will flood you, joy will return, strength will rise, and you'll know that none of it was random. Every tear had purpose, every loss had direction, every delay had intention, every prayer had impact, every silent season had meaning. So keep trusting, keep walking, keep breathing. Nothing is wasted, nothing is forgotten, nothing is overlooked. He's working in silence, and your breakthrough is closer than you think.